Leaders of the US, the UK and Australia will be meeting today in San Diego. That's to finalise and release details of the nuclear submarine deal between them. The security alliance, known as AUKUS, was formed back in 2021 and it aims to provide Australia's Navy with nuclear-powered vessels in a bid to counter China in the Indo-Pacific region. President Joe Biden will reportedly reveal a long-term, multi-stage plan to allow Canberra access to top-secret US nuclear technology. As such information has only been shared with Britain. The nuclear submarine purchase will make Australia the 7th country in the world to operate such a craft. Some allies, like Malaysia and Indonesia, have expressed concern that the deal may trigger a nuclear arms race. Now, China has criticised the alliance as well, saying that it should abandon its Cold War mentality and zero-sum game. Reuters reports that the UK approved a sharp increase in submarine-related exports to Taiwan last year. Data shows that the number of licenses granted was more than the previous 6 years combined. A UK spokesperson, meantime, has said that the country has a long record of granting such licenses on a case-by-case basis, as long as applications meet the regulations set. For more on this, Laura Makin-Isherwood joins us. She's live in London. Laura, bring it back to the issue of AUKUS. How are these talks between these three leaders later today going to shape the future of this alliance?
Well, it's certainly going to bring these three nations much closer when it comes to defence and security. The three leaders are heading to San Diego, to a naval base there, to go through with this next round of talks in this AUKUS pact. We understand that the UK and the US will be offering up the production of those submarines, which we know will be the Astute class submarine, or at least a version of that. That's something developed by the UK in the north of England, used by the British Royal Navy already, and given to the Australian fleet there to join their nuclear deterrent. Now, as we know, and as you've said, this is probably going to rile China a little bit in terms of their perception of what the West might be doing. We know that it's also part of the West's positioning in terms of countering China's presence in the Indo-Pacific. That we know has been a concern over the last few months and years. And it comes on the day, these meetings, these trilateral meetings, that the UK government sets out its integrated review refresh. This is a rethink of the UK's defence, security and foreign policy. And we know that China is going to feature in that too.
Laura, part of this UK rethink are these plans to shore up military spending, introduce new measures as well to tackle the concerns that you've mentioned over China's military and diplomatic actions as well. I mean, Rishi Sunak calling China a systemic challenge to world order today. What does it all mean, though, for relations between these two nations?
It could make things a little bit more complicated. It's a struggle for the UK government always to try to balance this security versus trade and friendly ties, that balance that really needs to be held between those two nations. We know that China is an important trade partner for the UK, particularly given the UK's decision to leave the European Union in that Brexit vote, of course. But we know, given China's presence in the Indo-Pacific and since Russia's invasion of Ukraine took place, that the UK has been concerned about the potential threats from hostile states here in the United Kingdom. That's what basically pointed to this refresh, this integrated review 2023 refresh. And we understand that when it's set out in Parliament later today, later this afternoon here in the United Kingdom, that there will be some pointers at China there as well. The Downing Street spokesperson, the person that basically is close to Rishi Sunak, has said the integrated review refresh will address the grave risks from Putin's Russia, the increasingly concerning behaviour of the Chinese Communist Party, and hybrid threats to our economy and energy security. That, of course, is looking at cyber threats there. And China has already said that it is concerned about what may be in this. A representative from China's foreign ministry saying that it's highly concerned about this, firmly opposes it, and urges Britain to refrain from providing military support to Taiwan's authorities, obviously leading back to those figures reported in Reuters that appears to show that the UK has been increasing exports to Taiwan over the last few months.
Right, one way or another, it's ruffling feathers, Laura. Thank you for that. Laura Makin-Isherwood there reporting live for us from London.